The stars looked different from the lunar observation deck. Taehyun Kim noticed this as he adjusted the settings on his tablet. Earth hung in the black sky, blue and white, and perfect. He never tired of the view, even after 3 years at the Lunar Research Base. "Dr. Kim, the drive is ready for the next test." His assistant handed him a cup of coffee. Taehyun nodded. "Thank you, Minho. Let's hope this one works better than yesterday's." The faster-than-light drive was his life's work. For decades, humans had been limited to their own solar system. The stars remained too far away. But Taehyun's breakthrough changed everything. He took a sip of coffee and frowned. Something bright flashed in Earth's atmosphere. Then another. And another. "What is that?" Minho asked, pointing at Earth. Before Taehyun could answer, the emergency alarms blared. Red lights flashed in the hallway. "All personnel to emergency stations," a voice announced over the speakers. "This is not a drill." "Repeat. This is not a drill." Taehyun's tablet lit up with incoming messages. His eyes widened as he read them. "Earth is under attack," he whispered. Jiwoo Park had been asleep when the first bombs fell. As commander of the Lunar Defense Base, she was woken immediately. She ran to the command center in her uniform pants and undershirt, her short black hair messy from sleep. "Report," she ordered as she entered the room. "Multiple orbital strikes on all major cities," said her second-in-command. "Beijing, New York, Moscow, Seoul, all hit within minutes of each other." Jiwoo looked at the main screen. It showed Earth from orbit with dozens of massive ships surrounding the planet. They were unlike any ships she had ever seen. Not human ships. "Are those—" She couldn't finish the sentence. "Yes, Commander. Alien vessels. They came through a wormhole near Mars. Thousands of them." Jiwoo had trained for many scenarios: terrorist attacks, nuclear war, natural disasters. But not this. Never this. "Contact. Earth Command," she ordered. "We've been trying. Most communication centers are destroyed. We have partial contact with the underground base in Seoul." The face of General Yoon appeared on screen. The connection was bad, with static cutting in and out. "Commander Park," he said. His face was dirty and there was blood on his forehead. "We are under attack by unknown forces. Earth's defenses are failing. You must—" The screen went blank. "Get him back," Jiwoo ordered. "I can't, Commander. The signal is gone." Jiwoo felt a cold knot in her stomach. "What about the evacuation ships?" 7 colony ships managed to launch before the attack. They're headed to the outer system. Not enough, Jiwoo thought. Not nearly enough to save humanity. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission from one of the alien ships. They want to speak with whoever is in charge." Jiwoo straightened her back. "Put them through." The screen changed to show a creature with gray skin and 4 eyes. It had no hair, and its mouth was wide and lipless. "I am Admiral Zalvix of the Galactic Concordat," it said in perfect English. "Your species has violated our laws by developing unauthorized faster-than-light technology. For this crime, and for the threat you pose to galactic stability, Earth has been sentenced to containment." "You're killing billions of innocent people," Jiwoo said, her voice steady despite her anger. "We didn't know about your laws. We can talk about this. The decision is final. Your species is too unpredictable, too violent to be allowed free access to the stars. Those who surrender will be placed in protected habitats. Those who resist will be eliminated." The screen went blank. Again. "They cut the transmission," said the communications officer. Jiwoo's mind raced. She looked at the tactical display. Earth was lost. The lunar base would be next. "Send a message to all human ships," she ordered. "Tell them to run, hide, survive." Taehyun worked frantically in his lab. Around him, other scientists rushed to save what they could. "Dr. Kim, we need to evacuate," Minho said. Commander Park ordered everyone to the emergency shuttles. "Not yet," Taehyun said. "We need to save the FTL data. It's our only advantage." He connected his tablet to the main computer and started downloading files. On a smaller screen, he watched news feeds from Earth, cities burning, strange ships in the sky, people running. His hands shook as he thought about his family and soul, his parents, his sister and her children. The door to the lab burst open. A security officer stood there, her face grim. "Dr. Kim, you need to come now. The aliens are landing. Troops on the dark side of the moon." The lunar defense base shook as another explosion hit nearby. Ji-woo stood in the command center, watching as her people worked to defend what couldn't be defended. "Enemy forces have breached Sector 7, someone reported. They'll reach the command center in 10 minutes. Ji-woo nodded. "Begin Protocol Nightfall." Her officers looked at her in shock. Protocol Nightfall was the final option. It meant destroying the base to prevent it from falling into enemy hands. "Commander," her second-in-command said quietly, "is there no other way?" "Earth is lost," Ji-woo said. "But humanity isn't. Not yet." She turned to the communications officer. "Send everything we have. All data on the aliens. All our scientific and cultural databases. Send it to the colony ships." As her people carried out her orders, Ji-woo went to a secure terminal. She entered a series of codes that only she knew. On the screen appeared a simple interface with the words Project Hanul at the top. Hanul, the Korean word for heaven. But there would be no heaven for those who destroyed Earth. Only vengeance. Ji-woo activated the program and spoke clearly into the microphone. "Authentication. Park Ji-woo, Commander, Lunar Defense, begin deployment." "Deployment initiated," the computer responded. "Estimated completion, 5 years. 5 years for the nanites to build. 5 years for humanity's answer to grow in the darkness of space." "Commander, they're at the door." Ji-woo closed the program and stood up. She drew her sidearm as the massive doors to the command center began to glow red from cutting tools on the other side. "It's been an honor," she told her remaining officers. The doors burst open. Alien soldiers poured in, firing weapons that turned humans to ash in seconds. Ji-woo fired back, taking down 3 before something hit her in the side. She fell, pain spreading through her body. A tall figure walked through the doors. Admiral Zalvix himself, coming to witness the final moments of humanity's last stand. He stood over Ji-woo as she lay bleeding on the floor. "Your species fought well," he said, "but it was pointless." Ji-woo looked up at him, her eyes clear and unafraid. With her last strength, she pressed the self-destruct button hidden in her sleeve. "Hanul," she whispered. Zalvix tilted his head. "What does that mean?" Ji-woo smiled as the base's reactor began its overload sequence. "You'll find out." The lunar defense base exploded in a flash that could be seen from Earth. But by then, few on the burning planet were left to see it. And in the darkness beyond Pluto, something began to wake up. 5 years passed like a slow, painful breath. Earth was gone. In its place, the aliens had built mining stations to strip away whatever resources remained. Humanity had become a hunted species. Do-hyun Lee stood on the bridge of the Perseverance, a stolen cargo ship now home to 300 human refugees. Through the main viewport, he watched the gas giant they were hiding behind. Its swirling storms reminded him of the hurricanes he once studied as a historian specializing in natural disasters. Before his world ended. "Captain, we've decoded another Concordat transmission," said Junho, his communications officer. Do-hyun turned from the viewport. "What does it say?" "Same as the others. They're searching for something called Hanul. They sound worried." Do-hyun rubbed his tired eyes. For the past 3 months, they had intercepted similar messages. The alien Concordat, normally so confident and methodical in their hunt for human survivors, seemed increasingly frantic about this word. "Any idea what it means?" he asked. Junho shook his head. "It's Korean, means heaven or sky. But why aliens would care about a human word makes no sense." Do-hyun walked to the small table that served as his desk. On it lay an old paper notebook. He preferred it to digital tablets, harder to hack, easier to destroy if needed. "Send copies to Minji," he said. "Maybe her network has heard something." On the crowded trading station known as Crossroads, Minji Kang sat in a dark corner of a busy bar. She wore a hooded cloak that hid her human features. Around her, aliens of various species drank, gambled, and talked. None noticed the small device, in her hand recording their conversations. A tall, insect-like alien approached her table. Without a word, it placed a data chip next to her drink and walked away. Minji slipped the chip into her pocket. Another report from one of her informants. Once a military intelligence officer on Earth, Minji now ran the largest human spy network in concordate space. Her agents were everywhere, scared humans passing as traitors, workers, even slaves. They gathered information and passed it along, creating a web of whispers that kept the remaining humans one step ahead of extinction. Back in her small room, Minji reviewed the data chip. Most of it was routine. Concordate patrol schedules, safe zones, dangerous areas. But one report made her sit up straight. A concordate science vessel had gone to a planet called Taros. They had questioned the local population about Hanul for days. When they left, the planet went silent. No communications in or out. The report included a grainy image showing Taros from orbit, its cities dark, its surface scarred by what looked like orbital strikes. Minji sent an encrypted message to Do-hyun. They're destroying anyone who might know about Hanul, but what is it? The volcanic mining colony of Vesper wasn't on any official maps. Hidden in an asteroid belt around a dim red star, it served as a meeting place for smugglers, criminals, and refugees. The perfect place for humans to hide. Do-hyun walked through the crowded market, his face partially covered by a breathing mask. The air on Vesper was barely breathable for humans, thick with sulfur and other gases from the constant volcanic activity, but it kept the concordate away, which made it worth the discomfort. He was here to meet someone who claimed to know about Hanul. Probably a trap, but he had to take the risk. The meeting point was a small repair shop at the edge of the market. Inside, machines and parts lay scattered across workbenches. An old human woman worked on an engine in the corner. "I'm looking for parts for a J-class engine," Do-hyun said, using the code phrase. The woman looked up. Her face was weathered with burn scars along one side. "Fresh out, but I have something better." She led him through a back door into a small living space. To Do-hyun's surprise, a young woman waited there. She stood up when they entered, her eyes wary but determined. "This is Yunseo Choi," the old woman said. "She served on the Lunar Defense Base, under Commander Park." Do-hyun's heart raced. Commander Ji-woo Park was a legend among survivors, the last defender of humanity's final stand. "You knew Commander Park?" he asked. Yunseo nodded. "I was her communications officer. I escaped on the last shuttle before the base was destroyed." She paused, studying Do-hyun's face. "You're looking for Hanul." It wasn't a question. "What is it?" Do-hyun asked. "Why are the Concordates so afraid of it?" "It's not a thing," Yunseo said. "It's a protocol. A plan Commander Park developed in secret." She pulled out a small metal object from her pocket. It looked like a simple data drive. "Before the attack, she gave this to me. Told me to keep it safe and find someone trustworthy if she didn't make it." "What's on it?" Do-hyun asked. "Coordinates and instructions. But it's encrypted. I need access to a military-grade computer system to open it." Do-hyun thought about the Perseverance. They had salvaged some military equipment, but nothing powerful enough for high-level decryption. "I might know someone who can help," he said. "Absolutely not," Minji said over the secure comm line. "It's too dangerous to meet in person." Do-hyun sighed. He sat in the cramped communications room of the Perseverance talking to Minji's holographic image. "We need your decryption skills," he said. "This could be important." "Or it could be a trap," Minji countered. "This Yunseo could be working for the Concordate." "I don't think so. She knows things only someone from the lunar base would know." On Norcia, the screen, Minji's expression softened slightly. "The Concordate just doubled their patrols in the Vesper sector. Something has them scared." "All the more reason to find out what Hanul is," Do-hyun argued. After a long pause, Minji nodded. "Fine. Meet me at the old human outpost near the Cygnus Drift. Don't bring your ship too recognizable. Use a shuttle." "Thank you, Minji." Don't thank me yet, she said. If this goes wrong, we're all dead. The old outpost was little more than a collection of abandoned habitation modules floating in space. Once a refueling station for early human explorers, it had been forgotten after the fall of Earth. Do-hyun arrived in a small shuttle with Yoon-seo and 2 trusted crew members. Minji was already there, her sleek stealth ship docked at the main airlock. Inside, the station was cold and dark. They worked by flashlight, setting up portable heaters and equipment. Minji wasted no time. She took Yoon-seo's data drive and connected it to her specialized computer system. This will take time, she warned. While they waited, Do-hyun questioned Yoon-seo about the lunar base and Commander Park. What did she tell you about Hanul? He asked. Not much, Yoon-seo admitted. Only that it was our insurance policy. A way to make sure humanity survived no matter what. How could one word do that? It wasn't just a word. It was an activation phrase connected to something she built in secret. Minji suddenly called out, I got it. They gathered around her screen. It showed a star map with a set of coordinates highlighted. It's a location, Minji said. In unclaimed space beyond concorded territory. What's there? Do-hyun asked. According to this, something called Project Hanul, and Minji's voice trailed off as she read the next line of text. What is it? Yoon-seo asked. A message from Commander Park. Minji looked up, her eyes wide. It says, if you're reading this, I'm dead and Earth has fallen, but humanity's story isn't over. Come find me. A chill ran down Do-hyun's spine. Come find her? But she died on the lunar base. Maybe not her body, Yoon-seo said quietly, but something else. A sudden alarm blared from Minji's ship. Concordate patrol ship approaching, she announced. We need to leave. Now. As they rushed to pack up their equipment, Do-hyun looked at the coordinates one last time, committing them to memory. Somewhere out there was the answer to what Hanul really meant, and perhaps the key to humanity's survival. The stolen Concordate scout ship was small and cramped for 3 humans. Do-hyun sat in the captain's chair, carefully navigating through a dense asteroid field. Beside him, Minji monitored the ship's sensors for any sign of pursuit. In the back, Yoon-seo studied the star charts, double-checking the coordinates from Commander Park's data drive. Are you sure we weren't followed? Do-hyun asked. Minji shook her head. No, but we've jumped 7 times since leaving the outpost. If they are following us, they're better than any Concordate ships I've ever seen. How much farther? Do-hyun called back to Yoon-seo. We should reach the coordinates in about 6 hours, she replied. But there's nothing there on any charts, just empty space. Do-hyun frowned. Had they risked everything for nothing? The Perseverance and its 300 refugees were hiding in a nebula 2 systems away, waiting for word. If this mission failed, they would need to move again, find another temporary home until the Concordate found them. Get some rest, he told the others. I'll wake you when we're close. Do-hyun was the only one awake when they reached the coordinates. He looked out the viewport at empty space. No planets, no stations, nothing but distant stars. What am I missing? He muttered to himself. He ran another scan. Still nothing. Then, he noticed something odd in the sensor readings, a slight distortion in the local gravitational field. He woke Minji and Yoon-seo. There's something here, but it's hidden, cloaked somehow. Minji took over the sensors. After a few minutes of adjustments, she smiled. It's there. A massive structure, but invisible to standard sensors. Clever. How do we find something we can't see? Do-hyun asked. Yoon-seo moved to the communications panel. We ask for permission to enter. She opened a channel and spoke clearly. This is Yoon-seo Choi, communications officer from Lunar Defense Base. Authorization code, Hanul. Commander Park sent us. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then a soft blue light surrounded their ship. Through the viewport, space itself seemed to ripple and fold. A massive asteroid appeared before them, at least 10 kilometers across. Its surface was covered with metallic structures that gleamed in the light of a distant sun. How was it hidden? Do-hyun whispered. Some kind of advanced cloaking technology, Minji said, her voice filled with awe. Beyond anything I've ever seen. Voice came through the ship's speakers, feminine and slightly artificial. Identify yourselves and state your purpose. Yunseo leaned forward. I am Yunseo Choi. These are Do-hyun Lee and Minji Kang. We're human survivors. Commander Park left us coordinates to this location. Scan complete. Human life signs confirmed. Permission to dock granted. Follow the guidance beam to Hangar 3. The inside of the asteroid was hollow, a vast space filled with machinery. As they walked from their ship escorted by floating robotic drones, Do-hyun looked around in amazement. What is this place? He asked. Welcome to Project Hanul, said a voice from ahead of them. They turned to see a holographic figure walking toward them. It was a woman in a military uniform. Her short black hair and sharp eyes were immediately recognizable from the historical records. Commander Park, Yunseo whispered. The hologram smiled. Not exactly. I am an artificial intelligence created from Jiwoo Park's memories and personality. She knew she might not survive the attack on Earth, so she created me to continue her work. And what work is that? Do-hyun asked. The AI gestured for them to follow. Let me show you. She led them to a large observation platform overlooking an enormous manufacturing area. Below, thousands of machines worked tirelessly, building what looked like small metal insects. Nanites, the AI explained. Self-replicating machines programmed for one purpose, to protect humanity and ensure its survival. How? Minji asked. There are only a few thousand humans left scattered across the galaxy. The Concordat has millions of ships, billions of soldiers. Numbers don't matter, the AI said. Only adaptation. These nanites can infiltrate any system, learn from it, and evolve to counter it. When Commander Park whispered the activation code with her dying breath, she started a chain reaction. For 5 years, these nanites have been building themselves, spreading throughout Concordat space in secret. The Concordat knows something is happening, Do-hyun said. They're searching for Hanul, destroying worlds that might have information about it. The AI nodded. They sense the threat but don't understand it yet. Soon, they will. What exactly will these nanites do? Yunseo asked. Whatever is necessary to ensure humanity's survival, the AI said simply. They are in Concordat ships, weapons, even some of their biological systems. When fully activated, they will give humans the advantage in any conflict. You're talking about war, Do-hyun said. The war already started when they destroyed Earth, the AI replied. This is survival. In the days that followed, more human ships arrived at the facility, which they began calling Haven. The Perseverance was the first, bringing its refugees to safety. Then others came, small groups who had been hiding on remote planets, in asteroid belts or drifting between systems. Do-hyun stood with Minji on an observation deck watching a newly arrived ship dock. How many now? He asked. Just over 8,000 humans in total, Minji replied. Not many, considering Earth once had billions. But enough to start again, Do-hyun said. If we're safe here, the AI says the cloaking technology will hide us indefinitely, and the nanites provide defense if we're discovered. Do-hyun wasn't so sure. I've been studying the nanite production. They're not just defensive. They're weapons. Before Minji could respond, an alarm sounded throughout the facility. The AI's voice came over the speakers. All personnel to safety stations. We have detected Concordat ships entering the system. Do-hyun and Minji rushed to the command center. The AI was there, her holographic form standing before a large display showing several Concordat warships moving toward their location. How did they find us? Do-hyun asked. Unknown, the AI replied. But it doesn't matter. It's time. Time for what? Minji asked. Activation. The nanites have reached critical mass. Commander Park's plan is ready. On the screen, the Concordat ships suddenly stopped. Their lights flickered. What's happening to them? Yunseo asked, joining them in the command center. The nanites in their systems are activating, the AI explained. Every Concordat ship that has had contact with a human vessel or planet in the past 5 years carries them. They've been dormant, waiting for this moment. On the screen, one of the Concordate ships fired on another, then a third turned and fled the system. They're fighting each other, Do-Yun said in disbelief. The nanites are taking control of their systems, the AI said, and this is just the beginning. Across Concordate space, the pattern repeated. Ships lost power or turned against each other. Communication systems failed. Defense grids went offline. And on planets with Concordate colonies, something even stranger happened. Humans who had been captured and forced to work as laborers suddenly changed. The nanites they had been unknowingly carrying activated, enhancing their strength and speed, allowing them to overpower their guards. In the Grand Council chamber of the Concordate capital world, Admiral Zalvix received the reports with growing horror. "What is happening?" he demanded. "It appears to be some kind of technological virus," said his science officer. "It's spreading through our systems faster than we can contain it." "What's the source?" The science officer hesitated. "We believe it originated from Earth before its destruction. Specifically from the lunar base that you personally oversaw the destruction of." Zalvix remembered his final moments on that base. The human commander lying wounded on the floor, the strange word she had whispered before activating the self-destruct sequence. "Hanul, find every human still alive," he ordered. "Kill them all. It's the only way to be sure." But as alerts continued to flood in from across Concordate space, he feared it might already be too late. Back at Haven, Do-Yun watched the reports coming in with mixed feelings. Part of him was happy to see humanity fighting back, but another part worried about what this power might make them become. Was this what Commander Park wanted? He asked the AI. A war that might destroy half the galaxy? The holographic woman looked at him with eyes that seemed almost alive. She wanted humanity to survive, to have a future. The nanites are just a tool. How that tool is used, for vengeance or rebuilding, that will be up to you. Do-Yun looked out at the stars, wondering what choices they would make in the days to come. Admiral Zalvix stood before the massive window in his command center. Outside, the shining towers of Etherian, the Concordate capital world, gleamed in the light of twin suns. But his 4 eyes were fixed on a holographic display showing red warning, signals spreading across the galaxy map like a disease. "Another defense station has gone silent," reported his second-in-command. "That makes 17 in the past day." Zalvix's gray skin darkened with anger. "How is this happening? They are just humans, primitives. We destroyed their world." "The reports suggest some kind of adaptive technology. Our weapons work once, maybe twice, then become useless. Our ships turn against us. Even our communication systems are compromised." Zalvix remembered the human commander on the lunar base. Her final word. Her smile as she died. She had known something he didn't. "Send a message to all Concordate worlds," he ordered. "We are now at maximum alert. Any ship showing signs of infection is to be destroyed immediately, regardless of who is on board." "Sir, that could mean firing on our own people." "Better to lose some than to lose all," Zalvix said coldly. "And double the hunt for human survivors. Find their hiding places. Burn them out." On Etherian, far from the gleaming towers of the government, District Hyunwoo-baek moved through the shadows of the Undercity. Once a diplomatic attaché at the Korean embassy in Geneva, he was now the leader of the human resistance on the Concordate capital. The Undercity was home to the servants and workers who kept the capital running. Most were members of species considered lesser by the Concordate leadership. Among them, humans were the lowest, brought to Etherian as slaves after Earth's destruction. Hyunwoo entered a hidden room behind a waste processing plant. 20 humans waited there, their faces showing a mix of fear and hope. "Is it true?" asked a woman named Sora. "Are humans fighting back?" Hyunwoo nodded. "Something is happening. The Concordate is in chaos. Their ships and weapons are failing, and I received this." He held up a small device. A message from a place called Haven. He activated the device. A hologram appeared showing a man with tired eyes but a determined expression. "This is Do-Hyun Lee of the Human Coalition. If you're seeing this, you are not alone. Humanity is rising. The word is Hanul. Speak it, and help will come." The hologram vanished. The room was silent for a moment. "What does it mean?" someone asked. "It means it's time," Hyunwoo said. He opened a small case he had carried with him. Inside were tiny metallic objects that looked like seeds. "Plant these in the main power systems, the defense grid, the communication centers. Then say the word Hanul to activate them." "What will they do?" Sora asked. "Give us a fighting chance," Hyunwoo replied. At Haven, the asteroid facility had become the center of human resistance. Ships came and went, bringing survivors and taking away supplies and the tiny nanite seeds that would spread their advantage. Do-hyun sat in the new command center with Minji and Yunseo, watching reports come in from across concordate space. Rigel system has fallen, Minji reported. The nanites took control of the defense grid. Humans have taken over the main stations. "What about casualties?" Do-hyun asked. "Minimal on both sides. The nanites disable rather than destroy when possible." Do-hyun nodded, relieved. He had worried that Commander Park's AI would pursue total destruction of the concordate, but it seemed the nanites were programmed with some restraint. The holographic form of the AI appeared beside them. "We have received a transmission from the Etherian system. Hyunwoo Baek reports that the operation there has begun." "Etherian?" Yunseo said with surprise. "That's the concordate capital. It's the most heavily defended system in the galaxy. And their center of power," the AI added. "If it falls, the concordate will fracture." Do-hyun stood up. "We need to send support. Hyunwoo and his people can't do this alone." "I have already dispatched ships," the AI said. "But there is another matter. The concordate has sent emissaries, requesting a meeting." "A trap," Minji said immediately. "Perhaps," the AI agreed. "But they are afraid, and fear can lead to either violence or negotiation." Do-hyun considered this. "Where do they want to meet?" "Neutral territory, a space station in the Centauri system." "I'll go," Do-hyun decided. "No," Minji objected. "It's too dangerous." "We can't just fight forever," Do-hyun said. "At some point we need to talk. Maybe this is that point." The neutral station was an old trading post built by a species that had gone extinct long before humans reached the stars. Its ancient stone walls were carved with symbols no one could read anymore. Do-hyun arrived with a small team, including Minji, who had refused to let him go alone. Each of them carried nanites in their blood now, giving them enhanced strength and healing abilities. But Do-hyun hoped they wouldn't need them. In the station's central chamber, 3 concordate representatives waited. They stood stiffly, their 4 eyes constantly scanning the room. "I am Do-hyun Lee, representing the Human Coalition," Do-hyun said as he entered. "I am Speaker Vexta," said the lead concordate representative. "I speak for the Concordate Council." "Where is Admiral Zalvix?" Do-hyun asked. "I thought he would be here." "The Admiral is occupied with military matters," Vexta said smoothly. "I am authorized to negotiate on behalf of the Concordate." Do-hyun nodded. "What do you propose?" "A ceasefire. An end to this conflict. The Concordat is willing to recognize the Human Coalition as a sovereign entity. We will grant you territory, resources, even reparations for Earth. In exchange for what? The weapon you call Hanul. It must be deactivated and surrendered to us." Do-hyun laughed bitterly. "You destroy our world, hunt us to near extinction, and now you want us to give up our only advantage? I don't think so." "Then what do you want?" Vexta asked, his voice tight with suppressed anger. "Acknowledgement of what you did to Earth. A guarantee that it will never happen again to us or any other emerging species, and freedom for all humans currently held in concordate territory." "Impossible," Vexta said. "The Concordate cannot admit wrongdoing. It would undermine our authority with the other species under our protection." "You mean under your control," Minji corrected. Before Vexta could respond, an alarm sounded. A Concordat aide rushed into the room and whispered urgently to the representatives. Vexta's face darkened. "What have you done?" he demanded of Do-hyun. "What are you talking about?" Do-hyun asked. Etherian is under attack. The defense grid has failed. Human insurgents are taking control of government buildings. Do-hyun kept his face neutral. I'm here with you. How could I be attacking Etherian? This meeting was a distraction, Vexta hissed. While we talked peace, you launched your real attack. No, Do-hyun said firmly. This meeting was genuine, but the humans on Etherian have made their own choice, as have the other species you've oppressed. This means war, Vexta warned. The war began when you destroyed Earth, Do-hyun said quietly. This is just the end of it. On Etherian, Hyunwoo led a group of humans and allied aliens through the main government complex. The nanites had disabled the security systems, allowing them to enter without resistance. They reached the Grand Council chamber, where many Concordat officials were trapped. When the doors opened, Admiral Zalvix himself stood there, surrounded by guards with weapons drawn. You, Zalvix said, recognizing Hyunwoo from intelligence reports. The human diplomat. Former diplomat, Hyunwoo corrected. Now I represent the free humans of Etherian. There are no free humans, Zalvix snarled. Only survivors we have not yet eliminated. That's where you're wrong, Hyunwoo said. We were never defeated, only delayed. He spoke a single word. Hanul. The nanites in the room, microscopic and hidden until now, activated at once. The weapons in the guards' hands sparked and shut. Down. The lights flickered. Even Zalvix's personal shield generator failed. What is this, Hanul? Zalvix demanded, backing away. What does it mean? It's Korean, Hyunwoo explained calmly. It means heaven. But for you, it means the end of the Concordat as you know it. As Hyunwoo's forces secured the chamber, reports came in from across the galaxy. The Concordat was falling, system by system, not through destruction, but through the failure of their technology and the uprising of those they had oppressed. A new order was beginning, and at its heart was a single word whispered by a dying human 5 years ago. 10 years had passed since Earth fell. On the planet now called Haven, once just an asteroid facility, a ceremony was taking place in the Grand Plaza of the new capital city. Thousands of beings gathered there, humans and aliens alike, to witness history. Do-hyun Lee stood on a raised platform, dressed in a simple gray uniform that marked him as the leader of the human coalition. His hair had more gray now, and lines creased the corners of his eyes. But he stood tall and strong, a symbol of what humanity had overcome. Before him knelt representatives from over 30 alien species, former members of the Concordat. Each wore the traditional dress of their culture. Each had come to officially recognize the new galactic order, and at the side of the platform, guarded by coalition soldiers, stood Admiral Zalvix. The once mighty leader of the Concordat forces was now a prisoner of war. His gray skin had paled during his captivity, and his 4 eyes had lost their fierce glow, but the hatred in them remained as he watched the ceremony. Minji Kang approached the microphone first. As head of coalition intelligence, she had been instrumental in coordinating the final assault on Concordat strongholds. 10 years ago, the Concordat decided that humanity was too dangerous to exist among the stars, she said. They destroyed our homeworld and hunted our people to the edge of extinction. They believed they had won. She paused, looking out at the gathered crowd. They were wrong. Today, the last Concordat military forces have surrendered. The coalition of species that once sought our destruction now joins with us in building a new future. Do-hyun stepped forward to speak. We did not win through destruction. We won through adaptation, through intelligence, through cooperation. The nanite technology that helped us defeat the Concordat could have been used to wipe them out completely. That was not our choice. He looked directly at Zalvix. We choose a different path than the one you took with Earth. The audience applauded, the sound echoing across the plaza. Later, in the Coalition Council chamber, Do-hyun met with his closest advisors. Minji sat to his right, reviewing security reports on her tablet. Yoon Seo, now the head of communications, sat opposite her. Hyunwoo Baek, who had led the uprising on Etherian and now served as diplomatic liaison, stood by the window, and at the head of the table, the holographic form of Commander Park's AI watched them all. The integration of former concordate worlds is proceeding well, Hyunwoo reported. Some resistance remains in the outer systems, but nothing significant. And the nanite technology? Do-hyun asked. How is it being used? Mostly for reconstruction, Yunseo said. Rebuilding infrastructure destroyed in the war. Medical applications are increasing too. They're remarkably effective at treating injuries and diseases. Do-hyun nodded, but his expression remained troubled. And weapons? Military applications? A silence fell over the room. Some member worlds are adapting the nanites for defense systems, Minji admitted. It's difficult to control the spread of the technology now that it's well known. That was my concern, Do-hyun said. He turned to the AI. When you were created, what was Commander Park's intention for the nanites after the Concordate was defeated? The holographic woman tilted her head slightly. Her primary directive was humanity's survival. She believed the nanites would give us the edge we needed against a technologically superior enemy. But she also feared what the technology might do to us once we had won. What do you mean? Yunseo asked. Power changes those who wield it, the AI said. The nanites have made humans effectively immortal. We can adapt to any environment, resist any disease, enhance our bodies and minds beyond natural limits. We could become like the Concordate, believing ourselves superior and destined to rule. Do-hyun stood and walked to the window beside Hyunwoo. Outside, the city of Haven spread below them, a gleaming testament to what humanity had achieved in just 10 years. I've been thinking about this for a long time, he said. About what we've become, what we might become. He turned back to the council. I believe we need to release the AI from the vengeance protocols. The room erupted in surprised voices. The nanites are tied to the AI core, Minji objected. If we shut it down, not shut it down, Do-hyun clarified. Free it. The protocols were designed for war, for survival. We've survived. Now we need to build something better than what came before. He looked at the holographic woman. Can it be done? The AI nodded. Yes, the core programming can be modified, but it would require unanimous agreement from the coalition leadership, a safeguard Commander Park built in. And what would change? Yunseo asked. The nanites would remain, but their more aggressive functions would be disabled. They would focus on creation rather than destruction, healing rather than harm. Put it to a vote, Do-hyun said. Let the coalition decide. The vote was close, but in the end, the decision was made. On a clear morning 3 weeks later, Do-hyun stood in the AI core chamber deep beneath Haven's surface. With him were Minji, Yunseo, and Hyunwoo, the last survivors of Earth's final stand. The room hummed with power as billions of nanites worked within the massive computer systems. At the center, the holographic form of Commander Park watched them. Are you sure about this? The AI asked. Once done, it cannot be undone. I'm sure, Do-hyun said. It's time for humanity to move beyond vengeance. Each of them placed their hand on a scanner. As the last one, Minji, the most reluctant, added her handprint. The system accepted the override. Vengeance protocols deactivated, announced the AI, entering new operational mode. The lights in the room shifted from red to a soft blue. The constant hum of machinery gentled. How do you feel? Do-hyun asked the AI. The holographic woman smiled. Different, clearer, as if a weight has been lifted. That evening, Do-hyun visited the monument that had been erected in the center of Haven's capital. A simple stone obelisk, carved with a single word, Hanul. Beneath it, in multiple languages including those of former concordate species, was written, Never again shall any species face extinction at the hands of another. This is our covenant with the stars. As he stood there, Admiral Zalvix approached, accompanied by 2 guards. As part of the peace negotiations, the former concordate leader had been granted limited freedom to move about the city. You surprise me, human, Zalvix said. Your kind has won an impossible victory. You could rule the galaxy as we once did. Yet you choose restraint. We didn't fight to replace one empire with another, Do-hyun replied. We fought to create something new. Zalvix studied the monument. This word that destroyed us, what does it truly mean? Hanul means heaven in an old earth language, Do-hyun explained, but words take on new meanings over time. Now it represents both our darkest moment and our greatest hope. Hope, Zalvix repeated, as if tasting a foreign food. An unusual weapon. But the strongest one we have, Do-hyun said. Later, from the observatory atop Haven's tallest tower, Do-hyun looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there was where Earth had once been. He often came here to remember his lost home. What would you think of what we've built, Commander Park? He whispered to the empty air. The stars gave no answer. But as he turned to leave, he felt a sense of peace he hadn't known in a long time. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger, not just in technology or power, but in wisdom. A dying human had whispered one word, and the galaxy had indeed knelt or burned in its name. But now in its ashes, something better could grow,